Hi guys, today I'm gonna show you how you can actually build an AI agent using SmythOS that can gather data for you from Google Analytics 4. So if you're a marketing analyst that uses Google Analytics to look at trends, see how your campaigns are performing, see how your landing pages are performing, this one is for you. Yeah, so forget about those long hours that you spend looking at all these numbers, sorting, filtering, sometimes calculating, right? So forget about those because you can actually create an AI agent that will do it for you, that will get the data for you. So here's a quick demo. So I have here our Google Analytics data for our website inkforall.com. Now, and this here is my Google Analytics assistant. All right, now I can just say run report for home. Let's say I want to know the number of views for our home path here, and the number of active users plus the average user engagement for this page. Now, run report for path. Let's say from November 22nd to December 19th. Okay. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the request, and these are the data. Okay, now my assistant said that the Google Analytics report for the path slash or our home path from November 22nd to December 19. We have 8,950 active users and there are 12,500 screen page views. Then our average session duration was approximately 74 seconds. Okay, now let's double check the data. Okay, so our users, we have 8,950 active users, and then we have 12,500 screen views. Now I want to look at the session duration, so I'm gonna go here, then audience. Let's just double check. Okay, now I'm gonna add here page screens. Okay, now all users, you can see here the active users as well. Then alright, so average session duration, it says here 74 seconds. So we have in Google Analytics 1 minute 14 seconds, which roughly translates to 74 seconds. So yeah, we actually managed to get the data out of this. Now let's do another one. How about we let's change the date. Let's say from December 1 to December 15. Now and then okay, now I'm just gonna copy this one and just change the date value from 12/01 to 12/50. All right. Okay. Okay, so again, if you can see, it's getting the correct active users and the number of views as well. And if we check on the average session duration. See, this is why sometimes it's really time consuming to look at Google Analytics, because sometimes you need to look at different data. Okay, so now here it says 1 minute 15 seconds, which is, yeah, roughly, it roughly translates to 75 seconds. So these are just 3 metrics here. So you can change your dimensions. So in here, I'm using page path as my dimension. That's what I want. That's the dimension I want my assistant to look at the moment. Then the metrics that I wanted to fetch for me are the total number of active users, the screen page views, as well as the session duration. So depending on your need, you can actually change the dimension, change the metrics. So that said, let me show you how you can easily create an AI assistant like this to help you with your work. So okay, let me go. Okay, so this is the agent's dashboard. So you can see I have here a few agents already running and working for me. Now, if I want to create another agent, I just need to click on create agent. Okay, now let's name this agent GA-4, and let's give it okay, so let's say alright, just a quick description. You can change it later. Now, this is the Smyth Agent Studio. Alright, so this is the Agent Studio. In here, you have the components which you will need to build an agent. So we have here different kinds of components. We have the base components, the advanced components, as well as data components, logic components, and yeah, in here you can actually use other yeah, you can get GPT plugins and use it as your components as well. You can use your other agents as components. If you want to use them in any of your agents, you can actually reuse them. All right, depending on the purpose. You can actually use models from Hugging Face, import them as components as well. You can use Zapier actions, AI actions as components as well. So there are so many things that you can do with the Agent Studio that will allow you to build your agent. So for this simple demo, we're first gonna create an endpoint. All right, so we're gonna use the API endpoint here. And all right, so let's say again, let's just use what I demonstrated earlier as an example. I want to create an endpoint that gathers that gathers data from page path dimension, and and then the metrics. So in the query parameters, or the parameter variable here, you need to set the information that you need to gather for the report to run. So in our previous example, in our earlier example, we need the start date, we need an end date, because Google uses this to identify, of course, the period. Then what else? The path. All right, now after this, I'm gonna create I just want a specific data to be captured. All right, then I'm gonna create some request parts here that will just capture the arrays from the body later. Alright, then let's say ND, and I'm gonna create here a body. Okay, then next is alright. Now I already have my API endpoint component parameters and outputs sorted out and added. Now I'm gonna name this endpoint. So let's say I'm gonna name this page path. So make sure that yeah, it is super important that we name our endpoint, otherwise the assistant won't know what endpoint. Like if you're gonna create different API endpoints for your agent, if you need it to get different dimensions, different data for you, for instance from your Google Analytics console, you will definitely need different API endpoints for this different purposes. So you need to make sure that you name them properly, so later on the AI assistant or the agent will know which one to call. Now let's say I'm gonna have this API returns Google Analytics report for a specific page. Okay, now don't forget to save your changes or updates. Now after that, I'm gonna need the CallAPI component. So what does this do? So it calls on to the Google Analytics or the GA-4 API. So so it can capture all the data that you need from the actual console. So you need to make sure that you configure everything on your Google Analytics workspace, or you made sure that in your developer console, make sure that all the APIs, all the things that you need are configured properly, so you can do API calls and gather data from your Google Analytics console. All right, so don't worry, that's simple. Google provides, here's the documentation, Google provides a really detailed documentation on how you can actually configure your Google Analytics API. And here, these are the API dimensions and metrics that you can actually use to capture data from your console. So anything here, API name, everything here, you can use this to gather data from Google Analytics. Okay, now I already have one set up. Okay, now we're gonna do a post request. I already have here the URL, base URL. You need to specify the property ID in your URL. Then for this one, I'm using the run report API endpoint from Google. So this is the fastest, this is the simplest way to generate report from Google Analytics. So there are other ways that you can generate report, but this is the simplest one. So yeah, then we need to add our authorization. Again, I'm gonna blur this one out. Post video edit. Okay, it's not visible anyway. So content type, this one you can actually skip this because SmythOS already provide content type, but yeah, you can add it as well. Okay, now yeah, see, we have here that part. Now I already have in the body here, I already have the let me do it, hang on. Okay, I already have the properties that I want, so I'm just gonna copy this into the body. Alright, so let me just explain. So I already have the date ranges here. So I have a start date and an end date. So in between these properties, I'm gonna add the, okay, I can't add it because we need to add the query parameters here on the API call. So let's do start date. Alright, now if I have the start date, I have here the tag. Let me add it there. Now let me do end date. Okay, now I'm gonna put it here. Okay, now these are the dimensions. Again, we want to get data for page path, this particular metrics, active users, screen page views, then average session duration. Again, you can change this depending on your needs. You have here Google provides the library, the query parameters that you can use. So there are a lot here. You can use all this. All right. Again, depending on your need. So there are a lot here. So as you can see, I have here the dimension, page path, then these are the metrics. If you want to go to the metrics, let's do metrics. Okay, average, yeah, bounce rate, checkouts. It depends. Again, it depends on your need. So engage session, event value, event count. So it depends. All right, so for now we're gonna use active users, screen page views, average session duration for the dimension page path. Now we want to specify, since this agent only captures data for a specific page path, you want to specify your page path here. So we're gonna create another query parameter for page path. Now let's just call it path. Okay, now I'm gonna add it here in my value. All right, okay, everything's clear. I'm gonna save this. Now all I need to do now is to connect my outputs here to my API call, so it knows what data to supply when it makes the call. So I'm gonna connect and now I already have one endpoint. Now I can run my agent. So let's just make sure that everything is saved properly. Okay, now you don't necessarily have to run this on your chat. You can start debugging it and just see if it works. So when you debug, you just enable this toggle here, click this bug here. Let's say I'm gonna go back. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go back to our analytics here. Okay, so for December 1, December 15 again. So Google has a specific format for its date. So you can also add it as a command within your agent. So it automatically changes the date format. But yeah, for now, since I haven't really configured it, I'm just gonna do it the way Google accepts it. Now for the path, we're just gonna use home, then run. Okay, so if you look here, the body contains the data, right? Now I want it to be forwarded to my API call separately as an array without any other text. So that's why I created it. This is like the JSON path, so I created this outputs here. So as you can see, body. All right, now I'm gonna run this. Next step. Okay, you can double check the data has been forwarded. Okay, now let's look at the response. I'm gonna pin this so it's not gonna move. I'm gonna widen this a bit, and I'm gonna, okay, so as you can see, it's a success call, and the values are, okay, 4,685.65. So it's the same. If you remember, I'm gonna, yeah, 4685.6566.7503. All right, so now you can stop this. You can stop debugging, or you can debug, still open debug. Then okay, now if you want to run the chat embodiment like this one, you need to go to your agent here. Let me just refresh this so I get the newest agent. Okay, so it's in here. I'm gonna say, no, I'm not gonna change any configure. You can actually change the configuration here, like let's say hi. This is what your agent will tell. Hi, I'm your personal assistant. Only I help you. I'm gonna save this, and then I'm gonna enable my chat embodiment. So when I go to my, I'm just gonna refresh this. Okay, let me, okay, now your chat embodiment is there. Now you can run the test with your chat embodiment and your debug session open, so you can actually see if the data is going through. So let's say I wanna change this to, let's say, from November 1 to November 30. So we get another set of data. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna ask to run the report for let's see. Okay, as you can see, it's moving here, right? Now this one here, when your debug session is open, it won't push through unless you click the next step. It's now running. Okay, now there you go. Active users, screen page views, average session. So let's double check. 11,529 and 16,359. Okay, now if we're gonna go to audience, then we're gonna filter this by add rather. So average session duration 1 minute 17, so that's 77. Okay, correct. So now, yeah, that's how you can actually use SmythOS to gather data for you. Again, you can run different reports, gather different data depending on your needs. So this is just a simple demonstration, and yeah, that's how it works. So if you are a part of our team, or you have a team and you really want them to be as efficient as they can get with their current tasks, especially looking at data. You can integrate SmythOS. You can use it to create this AI assistants that will make life a lot easier for them, especially when they're dealing with data in real time. So yeah, that's it. I hope you like this demo. See you in our next video.